Spiritual Fitness Podcast. We back again with another episode, and I'm so happy and I'm so grateful because I have a special guest. She's incredible. She's phenomenal. She's actually the mom of one of my great friends. I will talk about that in this episode. We want to welcome to the podcast Dr. Debra Waddles. She's a renowned speaker, a catalyst for change, an author, an educator. She's going to bring so much wisdom, so much medicine, and so much light and love. Dr. Deborah, how are you? Welcome to Spiritual Fitness. How you feeling?
Fine, thank you, Eric. And first of all, let me say thank you for having me.
Yes.
I never take any opportunity for granted to shed light. And I thank the Father for placing you in my path, placing us together.
Yeah, I love it. Amen. So just a little context of people, listening. So Chris Walker is her son. We went to Hampton University together. I think I met Chris in 2008 when I transferred from Howard Community. And the last 15 years, we've just been phenomenal friends. He's a Pisces like me. He also has a twin brother. But the other day in my morning prayer, I was praying about, asking God to connect me with the right souls at the right time, with the right minds. And all of a sudden I get in the gym and Chris calls me and says, "Hey, I want you to speak to my mom." Mind you, he's been my friend for 15 years. I don't know nothing about his mom. And then she's just get on the phone. She's telling me like this amazing story about how you got to transition, you got to transform, you got to evolve, you got to change. And so here we are today, the power of, God and the universe and relationships and people. To the people who don't know, I mean, most of us don't. From your perspective, who is Dr. Deborah? Because I know you as a mom and an educator and someone that is a phenomenal person from just the brief conversation we had. But just give us a synopsis of like, how do you see yourself and who are you today in this moment?
To put it into one word, a believer. To start my story, I am the daughter of father whose father came with a legacy of owning 125 acres of land and sharecropping out to the community so they wouldn't have to go to the others. And once they sold their crop, they would send their children up north on a handshake to college, just one of them. My mother was one of those daughters. She was an only child that was supposed to go to Morgan, but her and my father hooked up, and they hooked up at Morgan, but they started in the same little red clay country town. They get married and, they have 4 kids, didn't work out moving forward. So she decides she's going to become a teacher. Now she's a survivor. He's brought her from the country to this big city. She knows nobody. She knows nothing. The only thing she could do was sew. So one day I said to her, I said, "Are you going to sew all of your life?" And the next thing I know, she applied to Coppin State at the time college to teach. She became a teacher while I was in like the 3rd grade. And then 5th grade, she got a master's. And this is back in the 60s when women our color didn't pursue an education and be divorced and have 4 children.
Oh, wow.
And become a homeowner in the Jewish community. I'll get back to that. So that's part of me, ingrained in me. Yeah. And then as far as the legacy of the land, it was instilled, you get an education, you don't work in the field. Because when we would go there in the summers, the kids would be working in the field and I wanted friends. I wanted to work in the field. No, ma'am, no, you go get an education. So that was ingrained in me. My mother remarried. She marries a minister of this big church in Baltimore. And it's good. She's a teacher. I'm at Poly Western High School. I had to take an IQ test. I was an excellent student all through school. Right. These little girls, 16, 17 years, you had your first experience? Good girl. See, the good girls got pregnant. Next thing you know, no, I can't be pregnant. No, there's no such thing as this. No. My mother's a teacher. She's a community leader. My father's a minister. This is the critical part. When my mom found out that her prized possession was pregnant and it was illegal, I was not married. She had a church. She was a teacher. She was hurt. Wow. She was angry. And she had to make that crucial decision. Her decision was, I'm not going to let you affect everything I worked for. Girlfriend, you got to go. Wow. She packed me up, sent me to a whole different neighborhood. Meanwhile, she brought my grandparents up to the city, which they ended up on Ricestown Road, which at the time was not a Park Heights.
Yeah.
which was not what Park Heights back in the 60s was like your upper middle class. She sent me back to where the people that came up from the South, where they lived, which I love my grandmother. I loved her. She took me in. She restored me. She took my baby. She watched my baby while I went to school. She went through all of the channels. I was able to get 2 years at Coppin in under my belt, being a D's list student. Anyway, going forward, meanwhile, my mother's like, I'm cutting off all connection from you. Now I got to live with this awful pain of I hurt my own mother. It was like killing her.
Yeah.
I got the shame of I got a baby. Little girls that are good girls don't have babies. So now I'm in a different class. The other girls, my mother put me down so bad. You are nothing. You're nobody. You would never amount to nothing. That bastard you got of a baby, don't come in my house. Don't tell nobody you know me. Don't come to my church. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm so sorry. Okay. And anything I did going forward was to satisfy my mother and to say, Mom, look, please, do you accept me now? She said, meanwhile, going forward, that baby now is a doctor. That baby now is a multi-millionaire. That baby now got 4 opioid clinics. She's a minister now. She goes to Africa. She has clinics in Africa. That baby now is her doctor. But let me get back. Meanwhile, this is going to be deep. I didn't expect all of this. I was going to glaze over it. But you touched on something. The universe is opening something in me that I had shut off and just kept it moving.
Right.
So, but somebody needs to hear this. So when he ostracized me, I took a job at General Motors, spot welding cars. Here I'm a little teeny, educated college, but I'm like, God, what did I do wrong? I got on coveralls, I got on a helmet, and I got this big gun going around these, to take care of at that time I got married. He left to please my mother.
How old were you when you had the baby, your first baby? How old were you?
16
wow.
or 17.
You were really young.
I was very young. I was very, very, I didn't know what I was doing. I was a virgin mentally, physically, and emotionally. Because you are in that educated class of nerds, you have no social skills as to what's going on around you. Nobody talks to you about cuss words. Nobody talks to you about drinking. I wasn't allowed to attend parties.
Wow.
So I did not develop that, that outside of the book, but I wanted to fit in. So I found a neighbor that gave me something to give me to talk about at lunchtime.
Right.
Yeah. Which really catapulted my life unknowingly. So anyway, we go forward. And so now at 20, I'm married, got 2 kids, got buying a house. He leaves, we too young, got 2 daughters. Anyway. The next thing you know, General Motors, I'm at General Motors, and there's this line. It's like a line. And so I was in spot welding. So down the line was a lady. And at lunchtime, the line stops, and you can bring your lunch out, and you can go to the cafeteria. One day, I decided to just go down and sit down and have lunch with this unknown stranger. Mm-hmm. She looked at me, Eric, and she said, God is calling you. You don't know me. She said, when you go home tonight, I want you to get on your knees. And now remember, I grew up in church. Yeah. When they talk about being saved and knowing the 10 commandments, that's different from being saved and inviting Christ in. So when she said, go home tonight and confess that you're a sinner and ask Jesus to come into your heart and save you. And I said, okay. Okay. So I went home. I got on my knees. I had this big old rickety house. I got on my knees in this dark closet. All of a sudden, the room filled up. And I jumped up out of the closet and shot down the hall, jumped in the bed, threw the covers over my head. There was nobody in the house but me. Yeah. I said, whoever's in here, have your way. I went back to the line next day. I went up. She looked at me. She said, I see your light. Wow. She said, you did it. She said, you're in good hands now. Whatever you have will be done. She said, I want you to start reading in Matthew. I got a Bible. I couldn't put it down. I was eating. I mean, lunch break, at night, after work, in the middle of the night. It was something that had me. I couldn't put it down. So I said, I'm going to try this. I want my car washed. So I went in line. The guys came over. They said, hey, Deb, we having a car washing party tonight. We'd like for you to come. And we'll wash your car for free and clean the inside. I was like,
okay. Manifested.
The light, and she said, you're going to see some weird things, but trust and believe you are in good hands. I'm driving down, if you know about the street, Fulton Avenue.
Yeah.
I hit the brake. I'm at the light. My foot would not hit the gas. All of a sudden, this car came green from the left, ran the light, this is me right here. Yeah. I can't put my foot on the brake, on the gas. Boom, hit the light pole. The pole falls over on the car. And I'm sitting right here.
Wow.
He said, nothing will ever hurt you. Well, let me fast forward. Got saved, went on, and got married again. And this is Chris's father. Love. This guy was, the way you see my son, his father was like that on steroids. Just happy, go lucky, loving, kind. His father said to me one morning, he said, I gave you a son last night. He said, as a matter of fact, I gave you two of them. Wow. He said, I'm not going to be on this planet long. His father was a spirit. I'm carrying twins. I'm thinking this is going to be a horrible delivery. I know what it's like to push a baby out. I'm like, oh, I got to push one and push it. I went through labor, didn't know I was in labor. They did the delivery. They kept telling me they were premature. Chris and Calder were not due until April the 16th. They were born 3-3-8. So oh. They kept telling me the babies aren't going to be able to breathe. They're going to be in the incubator. They are going to neonatal. They're going to do it. And they were scaring me. His father said, you're going to be just fine. Just fine. He defied everything that I went into labor, didn't know I was in labor, delivered them, didn't know I had until the last Chris came out, Chris was 5 pounds, 4 ounces. They kept telling me the babies were 2 and 3 pounds. 5 pounds, 4 ounces, did not need oxygen. And then Calder was 4 pounds, 11 ounces. Now we had to work on him, but fast forward, I don't want to get stuck on that. But anyway, so this was my impetus for going back. Their father died. And when he died at that point, I had 5 children.
How did he transition? How did he pass away?
Cancer.
Wow. And how old was he?
I don't really like to think about it because that was I can't dwell there.
No, I get it.
Thanks for asking. But yeah, and it was a journey. That was a whole nother journey out of my life.
He knew though. That's powerful.
But the thing about it was the whole time we were married, the whole 15 years we were married, he kept manifesting everything I asked for. I want a house. I need a car. I need a car just to ride my babies around just so that they can go to sleep. I want this car. He kept manifesting. I said, oh my God. So went through the kids. And then I looked at my life and I knew the girls were in like middle school and high school. And I looked at Chris and Paul and India and I said, I can't talk to toddlers all day. I'm supposed to be educated. My grandparents and my parents stood for nothing less. And because I had the potential.
Yeah.
And I can't tell them to get an education. My mother got an education. She showed me how it is done. And without showing them what it looks like. And then if I do this by the grace of God, and I pray, give me strength, make a way. Give me that unrelenting determination to help me follow through. Because I had gone to school, but I kept dropping out. I kept with the babies. I had gone, kept dropping out. Give me that follow through. And that right there was the joke. That follow through entered my spirit. And I'm riding this. I took a job at the post office at night, putting envelopes in zip codes every day, 11 at night to 7 in the morning. God bless you for a lady that would keep my kids $50 a week. Get them ready, daycare, and then get a little 5-10 minute nap, and then you're back in class at 11 o'clock. I'm sitting in class one day. Now, when you go, and that's another thing for your listeners.
Yeah.
If your desire is to pick up your education and go to school, funding can be a hindrance, but don't let it stop you. The government has all kinds of funding if you just find it. God has already placed in your path what you need, but all he wants you to do is to look for it. I'm sitting in class, so at Howard, when they do attendance, if the registrar's office has sent over your name for not paying, you cannot sit there. You cannot go and say at the end of the day, you got to go. You can't wait. I went, they called my name one time. Although I had done the FAFSA, the Pell, I think it was a student loan. Howard is a private college. You can't go on regular financing from like a Morgan or a Coppin. It's expensive. I didn't do my research. All I wanted to do was get in. They called me. I went in there and I sat there and I said, ma'am, I have 5 children that I'm trying to live for. I have a job at the post office at night. I said, I can't, she said, I'm going to find you some money. That woman went in that computer. She said, here's a scholarship for this. What are you, right-handed? Here's a little scholarship for this. Here's a scholarship for this. They never, ever called my name again. And I graduated. And so then when I graduated, now that leaves me with the kids. So I'm thinking, I'm not going to ban them. I'm going to teach school. I got a degree in teaching. I'm going to go back and get certified for teaching. I did. So I could be home in the summers. I did teach in the summers. But when schools are closed, I want to be home. I want to teach when I come home from school, the kids' homework. Pull it out. Teaching, because my part-time job is here to teach. All of my kids excel because I stayed home and taught. I brought my profession in the house. And summer times. But anyway, and that value of education and self-sufficiency that my mother inadvertently instilled in me came alive.
That's what she was. She was a teacher. Married to and everything. So let's pivot a little bit, because that was a beautiful story of your life. So well put and well said. What in today's society, what do you think people lack the most? And what do you think they're looking for that they don't know?
There is no such thing as lack. There is a mindset of who you are around and who you're listening to. Once you go inside of yourself and find out who you are divinely created to be, your passion, what is it you like? What is it that lights you on fire? That's what your gift is to the world. But what we do is we surround our people that have a lack of energy, they have a desire, but they don't know how to make it manifest. Right. And they will start at the gate. Everybody starts at the gate together. But then one will say, I got here. Honey, I gave that up years ago. You gonna do that? Ain't nobody ever done that. Are you nuts? You got money. You can't listen to any of that. You have to be one and only the first. No, nobody's ever done it, but guess what? I'm going to be the first. Yeah. No, nobody has. I don't know what if I'm going to be the first. You're not. Anything is lacking in you, but the knowledge that you are the first, and you need the courage behind that desire to push it and believe. Once you got courage, once you got the desire, once you got courage to manifest the desire against all odds, and once you believe and your faith is in God, God can't not be apart from himself. If he says, if you believe in me, all things are possible. You can do all. I will provide. Seek me.
Seek him.
He can't lie about himself.
Right. That's good. Never heard that. He can't lie about himself.
And what I do is how I do, and I didn't realize, you got to have a goal. Have a plan. Don't tell nobody. Have a plan. And just build on that plan. And then stay focused. Let's take a bicycle. You know how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
You first got to stabilize it. How many times have you gotten up on a bike and you didn't know, or drove in a car, and you don't know where the world you going? Everybody, 95% of population is doing that.
Autopilot, right?
The ones that are you deem, quote, successful are the ones that said, I have a goal. I have a plan. I'm focused. I'm going to be consistent.
Here we go.
I'm going to persevere, and I'm going to ignore distractions. That's the only thing that separates the haves from the have-nots. Ignoring distractions and following through on your own goal.
Yeah, that's faith, that's trust, consistency, right? Discipline, and there's so many distractions, social media, the environment, politics, all these things, fear, distortion. And, you really have to be focused in life. You have to really set a plan, have your goal, be intentional, and lock in. Because I feel like life is designed, if you're not around the right people to take you off course. And they say you are the 5 people you hang around. And I always say the main thing for us is primary foods. The primary foods is, what are we thinking? What are we listening to? What are we reading? What type of conversations are we having? How do we talk to ourselves when no one's around? Are we praying? Are we meditating? Are we moving our bodies? Do we believe? Are we a believer? Do we have faith? All these things is so cliche, but it makes so much sense. When you come into people like you've been through more than enough. You managed, you overcame, you prospered. You still had you 5 kids. And I'm so grateful for you because my sister, is a mom and she has 4 kids, right? And her journey has been different in a lot of sorts. What would be your advice to her raising kids at that age, and what should she focus on?
What does she do in her life? What is her career?
Well, she's a hairstyle. She does hair.
That's beautiful. So she's a business owner.
Yes.
She's beginning. She has that's so apparently that's her passion.
Yeah.
I would say to her to build out her business.
Okay.
And then with her children, focus on where she'd like for them to go. Now, for one thing, like with one good thing my mother did about me when they were coming out with all the street games, and I wasn't allowed. A lot of them are dead. They died of overdoses of drugs, or they got killed, or they went to jail. Those were the kids I didn't know them. But to say as a mother, have a goal, you have a business goal, and don't mix the two. You are who you are, and you have a right to be who you are outside of being a mother. Develop who you are. Right. And meanwhile, let your kids see you whole and healthy and healed. And then focus on what is the goal you want for their lives. Talk to them. What do you like? Find out the 13-year-old, where would you like? And a lot of times they don't know. So what happened with me, I was steered on education, and that was all I knew. And then once I was done with education, I realized I was also a businesswoman. So, but have a goal and a plan for them to follow. And then once and keep God first in their lives. Get them in a church. Get them in a Bible Sunday school. Even if you don't go physically, get it on that iPad. Because these kids, like around here in Charlotte, the teenagers are killing each other, because they think that's what they have to do to fit in. They are wearing these clothes that are just, I think it should be illegal to be dressed like that in public. But that's all they know because that's all they see. And a lot of their parents have introduced that to them because that's all they knew. Get your mind away from the culture, away from the streets. Social media can be good. So you got entrepreneurs. So I watch hair beauticians on social media all the time. Actually, I learned how to do my makeup from social media. I learned how to style my own hair from social media. So social media can be good, but you cannot mix the two. Like somebody's on there showing, cussing, little girls twerking, boobs hanging out. And they think that this is what will cause them to be acceptable and to build up their self-esteem when it's all a lie. Yeah, so she has to get into her daughter's head as the mother and say, look, we cleaning this up. And they want to rebel, but you're the mother. Yeah. You pay the bills. You are the authority. And trust me, kids, as a former teacher, I watched it. Kids had no respect for parents that let them do whatever they want to do.
Wow.
It was the parents that when they would come up to school and I would report something and I would hear the lockers. You remember those lockers, those 10 lockers where you shut them?
Yeah.
That mother would come up there and I would hear the locker go boom. I would go in and shut my door. I would say, I can't be a partner to this. But that kid respected that mother.
Wow.
I watched it. It's a hard thing to do. It's the most unsatisfying and hurtful thing to do, but you gotta do it. You gotta be the mother with some teaching values, instilling good character, teaching self-respect, teaching confidence. You are beautiful, daughter. Nobody has to tell you nothing because you were created with it all.
Yeah.
You don't owe anybody any explanation. Get your education, daughter. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can have little side money, but that's extra. Mm-hmm. Your core is what's going to determine the quality of your life. And kids are not born with that. It's a hard job, but I used to tell Kristen, this is going to hurt me as more than it hurts you. But my children did not turn up just like that because they were, but no, it was God, it was work, and it was that shotgun.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good because honestly, Dr. Deborah, I can't say we don't because then I'll be wrong. We don't see women from your generation speaking like this. We don't hear unless it's our mothers, moms, grandmothers, but visibly that I don't come across it. So I know women need empowered women to empower them. So now that we're on the word of empowerment, let's talk about empower your beauty because you have a business and you have a company. I think it's your Royal Beauty. Is that
you are Royal Beauty?
Right.
And how the net? Thank you for introducing that, Eric. The name came about because of the tear down that my mother gave me. You're going to be nothing. You're going to amount to nothing. That bastard of a baby of yours, y'all going to suffer. And I went into the world insecure because my mother said it. I went into the world looking for acceptance. Please be my friend. I got candy. I can give you $20. Be my friend. I went into the world hoping that someone would like me. And when I moved to Charlotte and I started meditating and I started going inside of myself and I started speaking up. The word royalty came. I once had a radio show here called You Are Royal because I had a You Are Royal character development program. I didn't want another young girl out of the anger of a mother, father, sister, grandmother, out of a disappointment, have her whole innards destroyed. So my program was You Are Royal because you are royal. Nothing here on this earth that you see defines you. You came here as an heir of royalty. And this is what I want young women to know. No man can make you a woman. No man can make you feel special. You are all of the queen that God created because you came from the king.
So in the story that you told, I remember the first part was you was at work, working for General Motors. You met a woman who tells you to go and pray, right? Boom, you did that. You saw the next day. She said, you are light, you're fine, you were manifesting. Boom, you go to the second half of your story. You in school and there's a woman and you tell her you have 5 kids. She gets you money. Because I hear you said the word angels, but what do you see them as? Because we all have those people in our life. We just can't see them sometimes and we miss the message or the messenger because we're so encapsulated in our suffering or pain or challenge. How do you see that? Because those was like springboards to take you to another timeline in your life at that time.
You're gonna make me cry. You make me cry. You know what? Because the word appreciation but they're spiritual guides. They're people when you don't know you're ready, they pop up. And because once you continue to prepare yourself in a blind manner, when you're just going off the spirit, you don't know you're ready.
Wow.
You just keep on, keep on, keep on. It has to take that spiritual guide that's already was born and created to be placed in your path to say, give me your hand, you're ready.
Ready.
And what I hope I can do is for somebody else, give me your hand because you're ready.
You're ready. Give me your hand because you're ready. That should be a slogan. It's so beautiful because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know what people have been through, what they overcame. And you never know, like talking to you on the phone the other day to now I understand why Chris has been my friend for the last 15 years, right? And here's the thing. I met Chris in college, but for anything I did publicly, TV, Chris has never changed as a friend. He's never turned his back on me. He never looked down on me. There's been moments when I was struggling or going through stuff, I could call Chris. He was there. He was always, man, whatever you need. Like if it was a party or an event, I need t-shirts, whatever it was, he was there. So to speak to his mom, who is so empowered, her voice, her cadence, her aura, it just makes sense. And people listening, you never know why people are into your life. So when you're ready, that person, that spirit guy will pull your hand and say, come on, let's go. I got you. And that's whatever portal you opened up today for me, for you, for us, for the world. It's such a magic and miracle because this is a miracle season. Your story is going to save a life. Your story is going to challenge someone that they can make it. And you're someone that I look up to, that I'm inspired by. And I want the audience, people listening and who watch this on YouTube to know it's more than what you have. It's more than what you look like. It's not what's on you. It's what's in you. And I think today, that's what you gave us. You gave us your heart. You gave us your love. You gave us your truth. You gave us your wisdom that's going to heal a soul, save a soul, and grow a soul and transform them. But before we get out of here, I want you to share, like, where can we find you? How can we get into your vibration? How can we connect?
Mm-hmm. You can find Dr. Deborah at Debra Waddles at Verizon.net. My business email, DeborahWarrenWattles.com. For the skincare, one word, you are royalbeauty.com.
People, I'll put all this in the show notes. I'll tag her. And I'm pretty sure you have an Instagram account. I was on there earlier yesterday checking it out. And I'm pretty sure people are going to email you, and people, please reach out. Get into her.
Facebook. I'm sorry, Eric. Facebook.
Yeah, what's Facebook?
Deborah Warren Wattles. Please follow me on Facebook. Yes. I give a lot of motivation. I don't post about food. I post about what matters.
Yeah.
Life matters. Support matters. Motivation and inspiration matter. Uh-huh. So if you can bite on that just a little bit every day, you'd be surprised what you evolve into. But I give motivation every day. I give empowerment to women. So if you just need like a little shot in your coffee,
there we go.
Go to my Facebook page.
Facebook, tap in, follow her, connect. And look, to all the moms out there, the entrepreneurs, listen to her, tap in, get into her energy, and follow her. Dr. Debra Waddles. She's amazing. She's phenomenal. This was another incredible episode. Thank you so much, Dr. Deborah. I appreciate you. And people, don't forget, share, subscribe to the podcast, like, tell a friend, connect. And by the way, it's miracle season. Get your miracle season t-shirt. It's miracleseason.co. Promo code MSeason, all caps. And don't forget to get you a jar of some Miracle Sea Moss. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, you want to work with me, go to my social media, click the link in the bio. But more importantly, Dr. Deborah is the main attraction. Follow her and build and learn from her legacy, of her paradigm, of her soul. This was another great episode. I'm so thankful. So it is. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.